Hey gang, it's Karen here, and today's video I want to dispel a new myth that's come around. There's always new myths coming around. I've heard some people talk about wanting to build lean muscle. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? I think what people are thinking is, I want to add muscle but not fat. Okay, well, good luck. So here's the deal. The body is the body, guys, and it is nonsense when people say I want to build lean muscle, meaning I just want to eat and put all of that partitioned, which is a new word, partitioned, meaning you can shuttle into categories, which you just can't do, partition it into building muscle and not into adding to fat. The basic rule of Mother Nature is really simple and clear on this and all things, because Mother Nature is pretty clear. When you have a calorie surplus, you are going to add fat. Now, you're not going to add fat if your calories are balanced with energy expenditure, but everybody's different. How much fat you're going to add is dependent on you, your genetics, your lifestyle, not even necessarily your training. It's just your body, your physiology, okay? Some people gain it faster than others. Some people just gain it in the butt, right? Some people gain it all over. It's all very different. So, but when you're in a surplus, the basic formula, the law of thermodynamics says if you're not burning what you're eating, then you're going to add weight. Now, when you apply the stress of weights, you are adding muscle, not so much with cardio, because cardio isn't stressing your muscles, taxing them to a place where they have to grow harder and stronger. And so you're not going to burn as much with cardio as you are going to with weights, because the food that you're bringing in then has to go in to help you to heal your muscles. You've torn your muscles when you weight train. And so the food that you're eating goes into heal. It doesn't mean you're partitioning it. It doesn't mean your body suddenly goes, oh, wait a minute, there's 1,000 extra calories here. Guess what? Because you're eating low carb and high fat, whatever, now we're going to put it over into muscle, not into fat. It doesn't work that way. The body can't discriminate. However, what we do know with sports research, sports science research, is that the body needs protein in order to build muscle. Now, if you don't have protein, it doesn't mean your body's not going to build muscle. But sports science research has shown that if you have the quality raw materials like anything in nature, if a tree has lots of sunshine and lots of water, it's going to grow stronger and better. With more fertile ground, it's going to grow stronger and better. But if it doesn't have that stuff, it doesn't die. It just gets, like all the trees up north in Alaska, it has a short growing season because it's cold a lot of the time. They get sunshine for like half the year and not for the other half. So we got to look to Mother Nature for the answers. It's pretty easy, guys. So the basic raw materials of muscle is protein, yes, and carbs and fat, but the muscle is made up of 20 amino acids, and that is protein. So you need protein, and that is why we up the protein. Now, we don't know exactly how much protein is going to add into a pound of muscle, and then your genetics, your biochemistry is going to be different than the next person. Some people, like men, are gifted at adding muscle fast. And a lot of that is because they're male. They have a lot more testosterone. Their hormonal profiles are different. Their biochemistry is different. So, and then there's some women that some women just have an amazing propensity to build muscle and other ones don't. Now, you have to take a look at the training stimulus and you have to take a look at nutrition, of course. But if you get those things level, some women just build man. I mean, if you think back to Pumping Iron, the women, think back to when Rachel McLeish went up against Bev Francis. Bev Francis is a power lifter. She's an Aussie. And she, everybody was like appalled. But that's what you're seeing today in women's bodybuilding. You're seeing these big, big women That is not all due to drugs. Drugs enhance, they don't make. So if you don't have the genetics and you don't have the potential, no steroid in the world is going to help you. So those women come with that musculature. I could never be one of those, no matter how many drugs I took. My physiology, my biochemistry, my genetics do not allow me to build muscle fast or big. So I'm kind of topped out where I am. But I do know that if I don't eat well, if I don't eat enough protein, I start feeling loose. I start looking loose. I also don't have the recovery ability. My immune system drops because protein is a natural immune booster. That's why I'm always trying to get women to eat more protein. They think they're eating enough because they have a little bit of yogurt, a little bit of chicken, and it's not enough. And of course, I'm going to go through all of this in the challenge. I'm going to go through all of this in September again with you guys on the Warrior Woman program. Protein is important and we need it in ample amounts. Now, how much? Again, it depends. I'm small. I can't take a lot in. Another woman who's 5'10" and 180 pounds, she's going to need more. She has more body to feed. However, it gets to a point where it gets topped out, where if I'm taking 250 grams of protein, I'm not going to build bigger muscle. But if I'm only taking 10 grams of protein, I am probably hampering my body's ability to build muscle. So, when we talk about partitioning, when we talk about building lean muscle, I'm sorry, but if you're overeating, you're going to add muscle if you're training with weights. You're going to add shape and tone. You're going to add hardness. But you're also going to add fat because you are in a surplus. How that fat goes on, I don't know. So some people say, I'm building lean muscle because I'm really building fast and I'm not adding a lot of fat on the body. That's usually genetically gifted and or people who just start out with weight training, because newbies make the fastest gains, no matter what the age. It's just the way it is. If you haven't had that stimulus and then you start with weight training, you're going to see a fast build, and then it slows down with time. So the longer you've been lifting, the harder it is to make changes to your physique. Now that's where we say we get into maintenance mode, because I'm not going to add much more muscle to my body, but I still got to keep the stress on my body, the weight training, to a certain intensity to keep what I got on. So you never really quite get into maintenance mode. I always look at it like I'm still in a building mentality, but what I'm doing is maintaining what I have, especially as you age, because the body wants to rip that off really, really fast. So in a sense, we're always in a building mentality. Does that make sense to you? So when we talk about doing a lean build, it doesn't work that way. Your body is going to take whatever raw materials against the stimulus that you're putting on it with your weight training, and it is going to apply it appropriately. Now, you want to have ample protein. You've got to have some carbs, because carbs ensure that they're used for energy and your body doesn't chew up its protein stores for energy. You don't want that. We can talk about carb cycling. We can talk about higher or lower carb. That's another whole ball of wax, but you know you need carbs, because if you don't, try taking away carbs from a competitor and she's like likely to shoot you in the butt, because it is intense trying to train and live without carbs. So when people say I'm doing a no carb diet, that's a bunch of bullshit, because you can't sustain and you can't live. So no carb would be like chicken and water. That's it. So because fruits and veggies are carbs, right? So you can't determine how your body is going to add muscle and how much is going to go into fat deposit. That depends on your genetics, your experience. Now, as you become more nurtured in training, like those of us that have been training for a long time, I've kind of taught my body that it can, like, it's still topped out to a certain extent, but I've taught my body to add muscle or maintain muscle, and this much goes to fat, and that fat goes to my butt and it goes to my abs. That's just the way it is with me, and I wish it weren't so. So I walk around with love handles about 10 months of the year. When I'm 5 pounds up from contest shape, I'm wearing love handles and you don't see my abs. That's the way it is. Other women have different genetics. It doesn't mean that they necessarily have better abs. It's just not covering. Women that are long-waisted, women that just have a different pelvic tilt as well will have a different look to their glutes. So a lot of variables in place here. But what I do know is you still have to eat your whole foods. You still have to have quality proteins, carbs, and fats. It doesn't matter the exact amount, guys, whether it's 20% or 30% protein. Just make sure you have it every day, okay? And we'll talk about that again in September. We're going to revisit all this stuff. People that want the hard numbers, it's just an illusion of control. It makes them feel better. Oh, I'm at 30% protein. It's good. I'm going to build more than at 20% protein. Probably not. But if you're at 5% protein, then you're probably lacking, and you're going to have to add some in, because as we say in physique enhancement, cosmetic enhancement, bodybuilding, I know this doesn't sit with a lot of vegans, but flesh builds flesh. And so there are some gifted vegans and gifted vegetarians that are IFBB pros. Again, it depends on your physiology. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know their own physiology. It's usually a belief system that they're comfortable with, whether they want to eat meat or not. And if that's the way it is, then that is how you live. That is your experience, and that is your preference. So you stay with that. So we have to start looking at the myths, and we have to put on our critical thinking hats, guys. Honestly, look at it and go, does that, like, stand it on its head? Does that make sense? Oh, I can eat this tuna sandwich, and all the tuna is going to go into my muscle, and a little bit of the carbs might go into fat, but maybe I can pull that into muscle building too. It doesn't work that way. It's like this big swill that goes into your body. Your digestion pulls stuff out. The real deal is the stimulus with the muscle training. When you stimulate your muscles, you challenge them with weights, and that's where a certain intensity is important. When you challenge them with weights, it is going to go, oh my God, I need energy. I need fuel. I need to rebuild. I need to repair. Okay, let's grab this, let's grab this, let's grab this. It's going to grab, so you can probably eat a bit more and see faster results when you're continuing to train 3 to 5 times a week. So this is weight training, guys, because again, the stress, the stimulus has to be on the muscles in order for them to open up and go, okay, now I need food. Now, some of us in show, what I did for years was I overate in the winter purposely and added, I didn't like the feel of it, but I was like 20 pounds over in the winter. I did notice when I came back and shed it for the spring or summer show, I had more muscle on me. But it comes to a point where that is topped out as well. Where is that? I don't know. I think it came to me after about 20 years of training and about 7 shows where I noticed that, okay, this time I again added on 20 pounds and I didn't see much more result in muscle building. It's because my potential was topped out. The other thing you want to consider is, do you want to live with 20 extra pounds on you for 9 months of the year? Probably not. So this is where I say you have to determine what you want. With my one-on-ones, I can say to them, what are your goals? Some of them want to go into show. Some of them just want to maybe get show ready without doing a show. In that instance, I would say, okay, if we're looking to build your physique, let's take a look. If we're looking to build, we want to add, you've got to lift. If you've got to lift, you need food. If you need food, you're going to have to overeat a bit here. If you stay at a level playing field, there's nothing extra. The other deal is the added food gives you strength. So when I went into the gym and lifted in the winter times, I was strong. I was upping my weights on everything. Now, the problem with that, though, is you've really got to watch, because you can't continue to lift heavy all the time. As you know, we cycle through in the Warrior Woman program. We're coming into a little bit heavier lifting in September, October. Then we're going to do even heavier lifting in the winter. That's when we do it, because that's when our food is more plentiful. So we are training and maneuvering with Mother Nature here. We are training and eating with the seasons, which I don't know any other coach that does it, but it just makes sense to me. And I've intuitively done it for years, because you know me, I'm all about the body and working with the body and how it's reflected in nature. And I do a lot of Chinese medicine stuff as well. It just makes sense. And it's simple and it's real. And so that's how I teach it in the Warrior Women that you guys are doing. But if you want to live bigger to add more muscle, then you have to add more food. And that's the way it is. And you might want to experiment with it. But some women, most women on this program are lifestyle clients. And most women say, I want to look good, I want to be shapely, I want to be strong, I want to have a strong immune system, but I don't want to carry a lot of fat. So then we go into a little bit of a surplus in the fall and winter, a little bit, 5 to 10 pounds. Now, if you've got a lot of weight to lose, okay, we can bring that down. You can still train hard, right? So there are women that are at different places here. And so you've got a little bit extra on you so that you can lift and make gains in the winter. And then the spring and summer, when things get a little bit edgy and we don't have a lot of time, we're out camping and we're not as consistent, then that is where we can shave down and see the results of our winter work. Does that make sense to you guys? So the lean bulk is a misnomer. Now, some people are going to bulk and go, yeah, look at all this muscle. This is great. I'm lean bulking because I don't have a lot of fat. No, guys, it's not your body going, oh, look, we're going to put this into muscle and put this into, this is great. And keto doesn't do that, guys. Paleo doesn't do that. It can't partition. All they're saying is make sure you have quality protein. Make sure you don't stuff your face with fast food. Okay? And then the body knows what to do. But you have to give the raw materials. So you can't force your body to take certain nutrients and put them over into this place and not this place. All right? Basics apply. Critical thinking is a skill. Okay, guys, I hope you're well. I'm busy taking the challengers in. I think we have 12 now. Pretty exciting, and we're going to have a big show. I'm looking forward to it, really looking forward to it. So again, if you know any women that need it and want it, the challenge is taking registration till September 10th only. And then we start September 14th. So I'll be closing off September 10th. So I'm looking forward to it. And then we're going to do the Walk with Spirit later on in September as well. And that is where we go into the spiritual aspects of healthy living, being present, being mindful, waking up, moving into our life's purpose, living as in our authentic power, understanding behind the veil, spirits, guides, that kind of stuff. Okay? All right. Take care, guys. Bye.